Welcome to the cabin. Today we'll be using contrast paints to paint a Nurgle Beastman. I'll be using a Pestigore, which is one of the old metal models from the early 2000s, but you could follow along with any type of gore or ungore or other miniature from the current Beastman range. So let's get going. I undercoated the model in Grey Sear from Citadel, and after that I did a zenithal highlight with my airbrush using the Liquitex Titanium White ink. You could just do Grey Sear or Wraithbone, it doesn't really matter. I started off painting the skin with diluted Magos Purple, doing an all-over coat all around the skin. And this is what it looks like after the first coat. To make it a bit stronger, I used Volupus Pink, also diluted, and I concentrated on the deeper recesses of the model to try to fade that into the previous coat. And as you can see, it brings out a little bit more contrast in the paint. Next up, I'm doing all the horns and hooves, and I'm using Skeleton Horde for this one. After that one, I'm painting some of the fabrics with Nazdrag Yellow. I'm choosing parts of the fabric to be yellow here, but not all of them. The other fabrics I'm painting with Militarum Green, and on some of these models I also did Basilicanum Grey on some parts of the fabrics, but this one is just green and yellow. Next up, I did a coat of Agar's Dunes over a rope or leather details, like the one running across his stomach right here. After that, we have Gorgrunta fur, which I applied to all the wooden parts as well as the fur of the miniature. Next up is not a contrast paint. We're using Leadbelcher here to do all the silver details, so the weapons, the armor, anything that's made of metal pretty much. And finally, Blood Angel's Red on the eyes of the miniature. To bring out some more shadows, I'm doing an overall wash of diluted Basilicanum Grey. I'm covering pretty much all surfaces except for the skin and the bones. I want them to remain light. Next up, I'm highlighting the eyes with some Trollslayer Orange to make it pop a little bit better. At this point, I spent about half an hour on this miniature, and it's looking quite okay, I have to say. I'm going to take it a little bit further, so I'm highlighting all the bones with Screaming Skull. And all the skin with Pallid Witch Flesh, focusing on the edges of all the skin. Then I'm dry brushing all the silver details with Stormhost Silver. And here I kind of wanted the pustules to pop a little bit more, so I used Plaguebearer Flesh to cover them all. Finally, I want the weapons to look very rusty, so I'm using Dark Red Ochre, which is a pigment from Vallejo, that I mixed up with some pigment binder, and I'm just applying this all over the metal parts and kind of stippling it around to create this random texture. All in all, I spent about 45 minutes on this model, and it's quite an efficient use of time, I have to say. Here's part of my unit that I've painted up. As you can see, I've done the fabrics in different combinations. Since these are old metal miniatures, many of them have the exact same pose, so by changing up which fabric you paint in which color, you can make them look a little bit more diverse than they actually are. Here they are finished and based, and together in a big unit, I think they look pretty good. As I said, you could use this for any type of Beasts of Chaos miniature that you want to paint as a Nurgle Beasts of Chaos. For Pestilent Throng, for example, if you want to play Age of Sigmar with them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this speed painting. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to get more of these videos in your feed. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your miniature.